Good evening. This is the May 13th, 2015 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. This meeting is being broadcast live and is also being recorded for a later rebroadcast, which is available at auburnguide.com. Before we begin this evening, I have to ask if anyone in the audience is making a recording of this meeting. Okay, there being none, is there someone here for the 7 p.m. discussion concerning the Auburn cross-country team route?
Yes.
Okay, come on up, and can you identify yourself, please?
Yes, my name is Joe Fahey, Director of Facilities for the school department. And my superintendent's tied up in a meeting right now, so hopefully she'll be joining us very shortly.
Okay, well, you can proceed if you wish.
All right. Thank you. We're here pretty much as, a courtesy, just to let you people know what's going on with the project. We're excited to have the approval from the water department to let us use their land for a cross-country trail. So we figured by coming here tonight, let you know our plans where our trail is actually going to be, just to make sure it doesn't impact any of the wetlands that we have back there. So just thought it'd be good to start the dialogue now.
Sure, absolutely.
So, we met with the cross-country coaches that they had there, and we mapped out a trail. And for a middle school cross-country trail, you're looking at 1.8 miles. This trail that we have proposed here is 1.9, so it will fit perfect. So I have copies for everyone to take a look at. So what this shows you is the trails that currently exist there now in the back. There.
Oh, do you have one more? Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
No problem.
There we go.
The trails that are currently there now are used by motocross, people just using the land. What we're proposing to do is of no disruption to the land itself, is more or less just rake it out, make it acceptable for cross-country meets.
Can you just identify, Mr. Fahey, where the property is located? I mean, it looks like it's behind the Randall School.
Yes.
Okay, can you just identify for the record where you're proposing the trail to be?
The trail will be, if you're currently looking at the newly constructed middle school, it'll be on the right-hand side of the building.
Okay.
And right in back of the classrooms. There's actually, the first picture that you see in the packet is actually the access road for the water department to go down to their areas, because this is obviously their property.
Right.
So there's going to be a gated fence there, and that's where the cross-country meet's going to start. In other words, the parents that will be obviously watching the children, they won't be going through the woods. They'll be stationed here.
Okay.
So that's going to be a lock gate?
This will be a lock gate.
Okay.
So whenever you want to use it for practice, you'll just, will you be provided a key, or how will you arrange that?
Yes, we'll be providing with the key.
All right.
So the couple photos that I did is, I didn't do it as I actually ran the 1.9 miles, but you can see a couple of the trails that really already exist there now.
Yes.
So what we're fortunate to have is our cross-country coach is also actually a custodian in the district, and he's also a Boy Scout assistant Cub Master. So
Did you want to give his name?
his name is Jim Gagne. So Jim Gagne walked the trails with me. He's the one that actually provided this map for us, and he's very excited, to do this project, and along with the three troops that we have here in town. It does meet the criteria for an Eagle Scout project. However, I don't want to tell you that's an Eagle Scout project, but it does meet that criteria.
All right.
But he said whether or not people participate for an Eagle Scout project for it, or it's something that their packs can actually do. And their packs are pack number 53, pack number 121, and pack number 101 in town. So throughout the summer, provided we get approval, is they'll go in and they'll rake it up. We won't be needing an excavator or anything like that. So it's just clearly just making sure the trails are safe.
So basically cleaning them up.
Yes.
If there are any
Yeah, I was
holes.
just gonna say, because, is that what that picture is, like the chairs and all the
Yes,
debris
that
that's
was-
gonna be there?
So would you be doing any filling in the areas where it's rutted up, or just pretty much trying to rake it flat?
Rake it flat.
Okay.
Pretty much. And actually, we did speak to the water superintendent, Ken Smith, and I've asked him about this when the project first started. I says, Ken, do you think maybe we should put up some gates along the trail to prevent people from riding their motorbikes? And he said, actually, if anything, that's going to defer them from it because they like to have the bumpiness. So by leveling it off a little bit, would actually prevent the kids from actually riding back there.
So is it your understanding that the gate will remain in place after the construction of the school is completed, and you'll just unlock it on an as-needed basis?
Yes, this gate that you see right there was just obviously just a temporary fence.
Right.
There will be a more secure gate that will be there.
Okay.
Yeah, we ran on the roads, so this looks more like a cross-country trip.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
They're very, very excited to do it. More like the trails that you see like out in Quabog. And it's pretty impressive to actually have a true cross-country trail. And we're fortunate enough to have, hopefully have this happen.
We, members of the commission, have walked that trail. I know I have. And yeah, it's an ideal location for cross-country. I mean, aesthetically, it's good. You've got the well-established path there, so I think it meets the needs of the cross-country team, as you indicated.
I've actually been back there myself pretty frequently with mountain bike, so it'll be interesting to see how
Yeah,
things
so we'll have to
how
keep
things
an eye
change.
again, because,
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just hoping there isn't going to become. I mean, I've noticed to some extent there's been a litter problem back there. I'm hoping that's not going to become more of an issue with more use, but I would imagine it's kind of like a double-edged sword where more use could bring.
It's better.
Yeah, but hopefully
Yes.
students wouldn't be doing that.
No, it actually, I mean, we're very fortunate with the sports programs that we do have in town. They do have a lot of cleanup days, and knowing that this is their cross-country trail.
Right.
One of the things I'm sure that they'll be doing is frequently going in there and more or less cleaning it up.
Nice.
So that's already been talked about and encouraged, and
That's
excited
good.
that would happen.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Any questions?
Nope.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Fahey, for coming in tonight.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
You get to enjoy the rest of the night.
Enjoy the weather.
Beautiful out there.
Not so hot today.
Thank you, Joe. Good night.
All right, we have a few minutes to kill before the 7:15 meeting, which is going to be continued anyway, so.
Did you want to discuss Mike Conan, 3 William Street now, or do you want to just...
No, absolutely. He's here.
Open to continue to, or-
Why don't you come on up? Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you just state your name for the records, please?
Mike Conan, with Central Mass Builders.
Okay.
Art Allen from Ecotech, Lancaster.
All right, so at our last meeting, Mr. Conan, we had received a complaint about water infiltrating into an adjacent owner's property. You were here, you indicated you were going to put up measures to pretty much take care of that problem, stabilize the erosion control measures that were in place. I understand, I went by there briefly. I know that Michelle on our commission went out there, took copious photographs, and which we all saw. So it looks like the area is well stabilized at this point. Mr. Allen, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I could just briefly. I had done the original evaluation after the initial violation and cutting was done out there. I wrote the specification for the wetland restoration, delineated the wetland on the site. Scott Jordan subsequently did some follow-up from my office while I was away, but then he's tied up tonight, so it's back to me.
Okay.
Essentially, Since the start of the spring, I know he's fixed up his erosion controls, he's done his restoration planting. You folks have seen the site, I believe you have some pictures. I know the neighbor, and I had spoken to the neighbor when I was initially out there too, and seen the site, and we took some pictures, but essentially the neighbor's shed is right at the same level as the wetland on Mr. Conan's property. May have even been built in the wetland. I didn't go over there, I'm only speculating.
I understand.
The neighbor also dumps leaves over the fence, and essentially the leaves dam up right at the outlet from this wetland. The swale that was put in is along the property line, up gradient of the wetland. Obviously, he's not going to swale out of the wetland to drain it. I think that's what the neighbor would like him to do, but I mean, he'd be draining a wetland. You can see right in the center next to the tree, essentially, is the leaves are all built up. That's right where that wetland tries to drain out onto the
But
property
can't
and
because
back.
of the leaves.
In part, yeah. In part, it's just kind of a low spot that has some seasonal ponding, and
Okay.
it builds up to a certain level, and kind of saturates that whole area. And you can see that shed is pretty much right on the same plane. Essentially, I mean, he's done everything I think at this point he can do to both, keep his project out of there, to restore, the damage that had been done initially when he didn't realize he had a wetland. And I really don't think there's anything else he really can or should do in terms of the drainage out of that wetland, because, A, he'd be draining the wetland, B, he'd be draining it onto somebody else's property, neither of which I think the commission would want him to do. So, obviously that if the neighbor
That's the worst.
were to clean out the leaves and things, I think he'd help his situation.
Okay.
But that's about all I can say at this point. I don't know if you had anything to add, Mike.
No, the only time that you're going to see that happen, now I owned this property a year ago, January, and when we purchased it, we didn't know that there was wetlands on it. Nothing was ever recorded and whatnot. So, but the only time that there is right after the snow, the thaw. Everything melts. It's the lowest point from like 4 different yards, and it all comes right down to that point. And like at this time right now, you go there, it's bone dry. And all last year, even after it rained like 3 days in a row, we had about 3 inches of rain, I believe it was. It didn't even puddle.
Just when the
it's-
groundwater's up.
Yeah, that's what it appeared to me.
Right.
So.
I think a lot of what you've done is gonna help that as well, though. All the planting and everything that's back.
It'll
there.
help the
It's like-
wetland, it won't necessarily help the neighbor, and again, I don't,
But like you said,
I'm trying to be honest, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think you
we
really...
we appreciate honesty on this board. And actually, perhaps the letter can go to the neighbor, maybe advising him that he shouldn't put the leaves over the bank and cause like a damming effect, and that it would probably result in an improvement of the conditions on his property. So,
Do they know who's putting the leaves there?
well,
They're behind the neighbor's sheds.
I mean, it's either a phantom or it's the neighbor. So,
I know, but what neighbor? Someone
Phantom Menace.
behind?
no, it's the
guy
adjacent
with
neighbor
the-
next door, is Mr. Brennan.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice people. They
Right.
have no idea that they were doing
Yeah,
that
I'm
or
not-
causing anything.
I
They have-
understand.
Yeah. you know.
So.
Oh, okay.
So I think we can send a helpful letter to them, hopefully. Any comments from the board? Okay. Any comments from the audience? All right. So I presume that you would like for us to remove the enforcement order, is that correct?
Please.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Two.
Lift the enforcement order.
Okay. Is there a second? All right. Is there any further discussion? All those-
You did it first, is that?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Okay. So you are back in our good graces, sir. Thank you. So
Ready to start
Thanks.
construction.
that's right. So thank you for taking care of that problem. We do
No problem.
appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
All right. Thank you.
Take care, folks.
Thank you, Ed. Good night, Mike.
Good night.
Yep.
I now have, or the clock says it's 7:15. Our first public hearing for this evening was an application from David Pappas to construct homes at 129 West Street in Auburn, Massachusetts. And I understand that the applicant has requested a continuance
Yes,
to June 10th.
that's what he asked.
Do we have anything on for June 10th?
At the moment, no, we don't.
Okay, so may I have a motion to continue the public hearing of Mr. Pappas to June 10th at 7 p.m.?
I will move that we continue the public hearing for David Pappas to June 10th at 7 p.m.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote.
Okay.
Okay. So, moving right along, we have to wait until 7:30 for the next public hearing. Several of us went to RH White, actually, probably a month ago, right, at this point?
Yeah, it's, I believe it was the 11th. I've got some of the photos.
Okay.
I believe I put up all the photos I had from that
April
day.
11th?
It was a while ago. I believe it was from April
A
11th.
month ago then.
What happened is that just by circumstance, we were out on site walks and we decided to stop by. And because RH White is constructing a new building, where was it an Elks Hall? I forget what
It was the Knights of Columbus.
thank you,
Yeah.
Knights of Columbus Hall was. And we took a tour in the back, and
Oh, yeah.
there were some interesting things stored near the Welland area.
Yeah, that was kind of off-putting.
And so this is just
But that, okay, this is, yeah, it was in.
it's well behind where the construction is taking place.
It's all wet back there.
And so we thought perhaps it might be worthwhile to take a look at this, or at least to discuss this and determine if we want to send RH White a letter.
Snow storage in the buffer zone. Storage of lots of things. Trees.
How about the building itself? Is that,
The building is not even in the wetlands.
it's not?
No, it's
All this stuff is directly
near Central
adjoining
Street, right
the,
adjacent to the
basically the river
facility.
right behind
So
it.
they're
Yeah,
far
it's
enough
just,
from the
it's
wetlands,
like
but they're back.
less than
well,
10
far
feet.
enough
I'd say
away.
that, yeah.
yeah, as you can see.
Even if it was perennial, it was more than 200 feet.
It's not so much the stuff though, like
I
that.
haven't done
It's
that.
mostly more than stuff.
And then all the snow storage
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like curbing stuff. It was tough keeping track of all the different stuff that was there. Like these are like big granite curbing stones, maybe.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I mean, we didn't see
tires.
it was clear that there were things that were stored near the pond in the Welland
Oh.
area. That's interesting.
They're storing Google there too.
But there was no ongoing activity. That's not construction activity there. So the thought was perhaps we could send them a letter. And so if we want to send them a letter, what would you like the letter to say?
Wouldn't it be helpful if they would just come in?
I was just going to say that.
Well, okay.
Come in and speak to us.
Because presumably they're aware that a lot of the stuff should not be stored within.
I don't know what their awareness is, and I would not presume to,
I have to agree. I think giving them a heads up with a letter is going to make it non-confrontational. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, you don't have to say.
You might want to be aware that
You may want to take
this
a
stuff
look
is
at
not
this
supposed to be stored within.
and actually send them,
Buffer zone.
this shouldn't be done within the buffer zone, which you are clearly in at this point. And send them some of the pictures.
It might be simplest just to say, please come in and talk to us.
About,
Well, I mean, just to say, I mean, there's
Materials
so, I mean, this isn't like a subtle case. This is like, there's all sorts of different things on site that,
This has come to our attention that there are things being stored in the wetlands that should not be there. Please come in.
I mean,
and talk
the
to us.
troublesome thing, just speaking for myself, was looking at this is, if they pulled everything back 100 foot from the wetland, where are they going to put all this stuff on that property?
underneath the new building.
So it seems like it's if they wanted to comply, I don't know how they would run that site.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, we saw the containers of what appear to be explosive materials and some other items there too.
Are
Yeah.
they locked?
They were locked.
Oh, that's encouraging.
Yes, it is.
So that's good.
For example. But,
And we could just
So
say
maybe
we're
I'll second
concerned.
it.
We're concerned about storage of equipment and materials within the buffer zone. Please appear at our next meeting.
okay, do you want to make a motion to that effect?
Okay.
And then maybe, like you indicated, attach certain photographs to show what we're concerned about?
Yeah, I could probably just attach, half a dozen of them.
Yeah, we don't have to send
Just the
them.
highlights.
All right. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, is there any further discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Okay, very good. And Sheila, I'll try to prepare something for you to send out.
And like I said,
Nice.
all of the photos are in the Google My Drive, which basically just log into our email address and then just go to Google Drive website, and then it'll be right there.
Okay,
So
great.
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, it's 20 past. We have a few more minutes before the 7:30 public hearing. I guess we have an answer, a resolution to the garden shed issue at the high school. Can you enlighten us?
It's moved over now to the Auburn Middle School.
Okay,
And did you see the plan there where they want to put it?
vaguely. I think I did see it.
The old one, and here's the new one. I don't have a couple of, this is the new. I emailed it to everybody.
Yeah,
Did you see the new one? Louise?
No.
So they want to use it as a garden shed over at the middle school now.
Okay.
New middle school?
Yes.
And the issue again was that it was constructed in the buffer zone, or wasn't on the original plan.
Well, yeah, that's exactly.
Okay. Both.
Both.
That is the old one that you're looking at. That's the high school, yeah.
Next to Dunsbrook.
And the new one,
I don't think I have the new one.
really, I thought I emailed it to everybody.
Well.
Did I might not have printed it though. So,
Oh, there it is. AMS shed location.
And I think I just sent that today just to make sure that we all had a picture. Is it
Does it
there?
have a? Oh, here it is. Oh my, fancy.
West Street, I believe, is running along the top.
Now,
Oh, here we go.
is this going to be permanent? A permanent structure? They're going to like build a foundation for it or put it on sonotubes or anything?
I mean, it's 4 by 6.
Okay.
It looks like an outhouse. It's just what it looks like.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they're just gonna put it on blocks.
Perfect.
So where is the shed on the new plan?
Right off
There
to
on
the
the right
right.
side. Right here.
Over. To the right. See the purple?
There. There?
Right there.
Right there.
Right
on
there,
the
that
top.
little tiny little thing. Can you
So-
see it?
Yeah.
It's,
Oh,
on, it's
okay.
on the plan. So for the time being, they're going to keep it at the high school, and then when they're ready to proceed or open the middle school or sometime before then, they'll transport over there?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm satisfied.
I'm good.
So everyone's happy with it being located over at the Auburn Middle School?
As long as it's not in Welland, they can put it anywhere they want.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Is that for nonsense?
That's a perfect.
They could put it on the roof of the building.
Do you have to vote on it, or?
I don't think so.
Oh.
No, because we never issued an enforcement order or
Yeah, that's right,
anything.
they never really
So,
submitted anything.
and you can,
either.
and now you can take it off the agenda,
Good.
which is great. Okay. I had a discussion, the next item on the miscellaneous portion of our agenda is 430 Rochdale Street. And I had a discussion with Matt Benoit this afternoon, and I also spoke to a DCR agent by the name of Guy LaChance. And apparently, The tree cutting plan was approved by DCR back on April 21st. We did not get a copy of the certificate or the notification. I guess Matt, and I don't, to be honest with you, I don't even know how Matt found out about it, but he did find out about it and had some discussion with Mr. LaChance. DCR, because it's a forest cutting plan, DCR has primary jurisdiction over this, and they really actually supersede our jurisdiction. But one of the conditions of the forest cutting plan is that no work can be done within 50 feet of the Welland crossing. And as some of us, as we know, when we went and took some site walks there, and again, that was probably over a month ago or about a month ago, there were some streams there. I don't know if they were
Let's see.
intermittent or perennial, but
Photos.
yeah.
Yep, there's
Yeah.
some good pieces of water there.
So, well, Mr. LaChance, and apparently the contractor that's doing the tree cutting started the work without letting him know, which he was not real happy about. But he indicated to me that he's going to go out there next week, and he told me ensure that no tree cutting takes place within 50 feet of the wetland crossing. And I do believe after my conversation with him that if anything is not up to par, that he would stop the tree cutting until the problem is corrected. So I do expect I'll have some further conversation with Mr. LaChance maybe in the next week or so, and I will just I'll keep the board informed. All right. Looking further down for Faith Avenue, Gillian Davies and I went out to meet with Glenn Kravosky 2 Mondays ago at the site. We had, I think, a good discussion, and although we have not received a plan, they do have, or Mr. Kravosky does have a proposal to remediate the wetland area so that the Faith Ave project can go forward. It involves replicating, again, unless you're familiar with the site, it's hard for me to describe, but adjacent to, across the street from the perimeter road of Faith Avenue, there's almost a bowl in which there's drainage. And next to that is the exit ramp, I believe, for Route 20 from, I think, 290. And it appears to be an area where replication can be done, and it would actually be a better place for replication to take place than the current replication area. So there's no plan before us yet, but I believe we'll see a plan hopefully in the next month or so, and we'll proceed. Mr. Kravosky indicated that he's also going to try to coordinate with DEP because on the other side of that bowl area, adjacent to the exit ramp, there is, it's state property. There's a culvert there that is silted in badly. And the hope is that by doing a joint, or at least getting DEP involved in an attempt, or the Department of Transportation, to clean out that culvert, it'll result in that whole area being improved in terms of flow and reducing siltation and that sort of thing. So I do expect we will see a filing from Faith Ave probably in the next month or so. All right, I have 29 past 7.
Okay. Did you want me to remove 430 Rochdale Street off the agenda? Are we done with that, or did you want to?
I think we can carry it
Okay,
just for discussion
all right.
for the time being.
Come on up.
45 seconds.
Who's counting?
Well, I'm looking at all pollen on this table. And I don't want to touch it.
Really?
So you might have to call an
Oh,
ambulance.
yeah. Oh, goodness.
Oh, boy.
That's
exactly the same way.
It's like my car.
That is actually a good point.
Thank you. Because my car
Sure
washing
is.
is already
I didn't
low.
even notice that.
I didn't either.
Stuff's getting everywhere.
Did you by any chance, Dan, go up to your dad's today?
What's-
See that big, did you go up Oyama Drive at all today? Did you see that big balloon that broke off the tree last night?
No. Which tree?
One of the maple trees, point, what do I want to say, in front of, well, you know where the Gurries live?
Oh, down the street?
Yeah, just beyond their house.
Oh,
The
wow.
Opposite side of the street. It just came over and part of it fell into Packagug. Had to send the big.
No, I'll have to take a look
Plow
next
it
time
out
I'm
of
there.
the-
Maybe
plow
I'll
it
stop
out
by
of the road.
tonight.
Well, they've already chipped away all the branches.
Yeah.
All that's left there now is the log.
Yeah.
But it's big.
Big trees.
Crash.
It's 7:30. The next matter for public hearing is an application from Herb Chambers, notice of intent for building expansion and renovations on property located at 805 and 809 Washington Street, Norwood, Mass. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
I'll
Is there a
second that.
Okay, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to see you again. For the new members, my name is Mike Andrade with Graves Engineering. Here on behalf of Herb Chambers, as the chairman mentioned, notice of intent for an expansion to the existing Toyota dealership. And just to familiarize everyone with the site, the existing dealership is this building here. This is 805 Washington Street. 809 is immediately adjacent to that, which their parking kind of spills over onto. So the project area is within this box here, just on those parcels, but part of the overall campus, just for orientation, they have this parking lot on 27 Appleton, a new parking lot on 33 for employees, and the most recent site on 20 Prospect also, which is almost entirely inventory parking. So the project, again, is just an expansion of this existing building. Which I'll show you. So what I'm going to do is start with this one. So on here you can see this lighter shade is the footprint of the existing building with these sort of peaks in the front. And the expansion is almost entirely to the west of the existing building where it's paved now. And it's almost primarily a service expansion. They have a very limited number of service bays in this building. I think they have about 8 or 9 now. They'll be doubling that. So that's what this addition is. This has a drive-in service reception area, which is kind of becoming the trend for all the dealerships now. So people, when they come in for service, they're out of the weather, a technician meets them inside. They can go to the waiting room. The building will be entirely renovated on the outside and inside. It's the dealership and waiting areas, storage rooms. It's overhaul the entire building. The only footprint changes are on the west side and a little bit in the front. So they're squaring the building off and getting rid of those peaks. So there'll be a new entrance plaza. Switch back. There'll be a new entrance plaza in the front. The curb cuts will remain the same. The main on Route 20 and the secondary on Appleton Road. Cleaning up the parking where there's a lot of storage now. That'll be accessible by vehicles. It won't be stacked 3 or 4 deep like it is now. Same on this side. The existing, existing edge of pavement on this side of the project isn't changing at all. So the notice of intent really is for primarily this work on this corner of the building here. So you'll notice the proposed building has this kind of funny jog on the corner. That was done to try and pull back the work from the wetlands as much as possible, at the same time maintaining a fire lane around the building. You can see the wetland here is in blue, and the site in fact is kind of bordered by 2 wetlands and intermittent streams that flow northerly across Route 20. So the pink on both sides is the 25-foot area, the orange is the 50, and the yellow is the 100. So a lot of this work is within a 100-foot buffer zone, and there are new disturbances we're proposing in the 25 and 50-foot zones. We've asked for waivers with that, which I will explain in a second. If you can see this on this plan, Right now, there's parking in underground propane tanks, basically right up against the wetland on this side. That will be removed. There's going to be a retaining wall constructed along here, which at its maximum, I think, is about 6 feet high in this spot here, what's the closest to the wetland. And the back of the wall, and we're conservative with this wall width, by the way. I think we've got it at 5 feet now. It's probably going to be in less than that. The back of the wall is 3 feet from the wetland line here. So this is new disturbance within the 25-foot, this red area here. And we're proposing to take this area that was previously impervious, and we're calling it renaturalize, is plant it with like vegetation that's in this wetland to restore it and let it go back to woods. And that area equals 1,200 square feet, which is larger than the new disturbance in the 25 of 860 square feet. So there's a net gain of 340 square feet of 25-foot area, if you will, on the site. The 0 to 50 is this spot right here. That's new disturbance. There isn't really anywhere on site we can make that up, if you will. The site, if you know it, is pretty much built out. This will build it out to the maximum, I think. And there really isn't any other place we can kind of restore.
You could always go up, right?
But they are going up. I mean, it's 2 stories now. It'll be 2 stories, but it'll remain 2 stories. So we have asked for a waiver on that according to your new regulations, which say you shouldn't work within the 0 to 25 and 0 to 50. So again, the new work is pretty much in this area. We are resurfacing this parking lot. We're not increasing the limits of the pavement at all. Just new curb, new asphalt. Again, I said moving the propane tanks out from the wetland and putting them over in this corner here where one more accessible for maintenance, and a bit further away from the wetland, albeit not that much.
How many parking spaces are you going to lose as a result of the expansion?
So we are losing quite a bit of parking spaces, and I don't know if I have the exact number here. Bear with me. What's happening is, let's see here. This is our sort of parking schedule, we're calling it. So we're providing all the parking that's required by zoning on this site. So that's customer, that's service. Employees are also here in this Appleton lot, which they access by this bridge that was done as part of that project. So the loss in parking is entirely inventory and display. That's getting shifted over to the Prospect Street lot. The intent is if someone wants to see a vehicle that's over here, they don't generally walk customers across this new sidewalk this day. They will get the car and bring it for them. So there is a parking lot, and I'm sorry, I don't have the exact number what it is, but I think it's probably on the order of 100 or so cars that are being shifted over to the Prospect Street site.
Did you have to file with the planning board for this?
We will be. We wanted to come to the commission first because we're asking for these waivers. Frankly, we haven't been in a position to have to ask for a waiver before, and wanted to see how that would go before we went to the planning board.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes.
So you're going to move the containers within the 50-foot buffer zone? Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry, I'm not the...
Propane?
Yeah, the propane, the propane tanks.
The propane tanks are really right up against the wetland now, and they're being moved over to this corner here.
So still within the 25?
They're still within the 25. They're going to be further away. In fact, most of the tanks, if we can, will be under this parking area, and this will just be where they're filled in the grass. Just a couple more points, and I'll take any more questions. The project itself really only results in a net increase of 970 square feet of new impervious. So we were careful to manage that to minimize any new impervious, but we are doing some additional stormwater management and treatment for that area, specifically this side of the parking lot. There'll be an underground infiltration system for the roof, and the new catch basins and treatment units will all tie into the existing drainage system, which goes to the east to the detention basin that's off the end of the parking there. And we aren't proposing any work, if it wasn't obvious already, we aren't proposing any work in the actual wetland resource areas. It's all within
It's buffer
the
zone.
buffer zone.
Right. So, explain to me why you can't build on the easterly side of the building.
Easterly side. This side.
Yeah.
The service expansion that they need, it requires a footprint a bit larger than would be required, and you see that this has already got some kind of funky staggered thing on the parking, and that's because the grade drops off pretty quickly to the stream that's there,
Okay.
and there just isn't room to do, to have a logical layout on the service area on
Well,
that side.
what you could do is instead of putting it all on the westerly side, you could divide it between the two sides of the building. I'm not saying that's a practical way to do it, but that is one alternative, right?
I suppose it's an alternative. I know they do take a lot of their design input from the Toyota corporate, so some of it is forced by what Toyota wants. And I'll just talk about that in a second. Some of you on this board a couple years ago may remember we, as part of phase 2 of the Prospect Street, proposed a service center up on the hill there. Toyota has since said, no, we want it all under one roof, which is why this project comes into fruition. It's not to say there won't be a building at some point on that. It just won't be a service center. They want the service center on the same roof as the dealership itself.
And the plan is to stay open while the work is being done, right? Is that even possible?
That is the plan. I mean, it's been done before. I don't know that they've talked about it in all that at all that length. I think they're planning on it if they can.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
I'm a little bit troubled by how much we've got in the 25-foot zone, which my recollection was the whole idea of the 25-foot no-build zone was to give more flexibility between 100 and 25. To say, like, instead of saying within 100 foot we're going to be really, really, really skeptical, it's like, okay, we'll be more reasonable between 100 and 25, but 25 it's like just no. And especially so where it looks like there's one section where the foot of this retaining wall is basically in the wetland. It looks like it's maybe a foot away.
You say 3 feet, right? You said 3 feet.
The back of the wall would be, and this is a generous wall width, we have it at 5 feet. The back of the wall would be as close as 0.3 feet to the wetland line.
I mean, that's basically it's effectively in the wetland.
Just to sort of take off from where Dan is leading with this, I mean, I have one issue that I would have is the fact that when you build this wall, if you were to build this wall, you're almost certainly going to disturb the wetland area. I don't see how you can do it without disturbing the wetlands.
If I could just rebut that. And
Please.
We did a very similar thing on Prospect Street where there was this stream that was up on the upper part of the site that kind of turned out to Prospect, and we built an 8-foot wall there. The top of it was right against the wetland line there too. That was a gravity wall system, which this will be. There's no excavation behind where the wall needs to go. There's no reinforcement. The footing is really just another block, and each course gets stepped back. I think it's 2 inches.
How far down does it have to go, though?
It's not like 4 feet in the ground. We make a huge hole. It's only a course deep generally, which is, I think, for these blocks is 18 inches.
All right.
So I'm confident that can be constructed without any disturbance beyond the wetland line, or even within 3 feet, or probably less as we have it shown.
I'm new, so I'm just going to ask this question because I know I'm harping on, but this right here for the propane tanks, you're saying is part of the replication that you've got in the 1,200 square feet. But then you're going to rip up in the parking lot inside the 25-foot buffer zone again to put the tanks in?
No, this spot here where we're putting the tanks is, and it's hard to see here, so this little box.
Yeah.
That's paved, that's already
Okay.
parking. So that'll be curbed, this will be grassed above the tanks.
Okay.
I'm not counting that as additional
Okay.
pervious area, because it's gonna be lawn, it's not natural. We're not creating any new impervious for those tanks, we're just getting them away. And the tanks themselves have to be,
As you probably know, this fire code, they have to be a certain distance away from the building. That's really the only spot that makes sense within proximity to the building.
So if I'm reading this right, we actually have a currently existing situation where under our fairly recent, 25-foot no-build zone. That's just in the past, what, 5-6 years? That's become a thing?
Oh.
Or even newer than
Yeah,
that?
Newer
it's
than
just
that.
last
Right.
February, a year, over a year.
So, under our new standard, there are multiple places on this site that would have been an issue if it were a new construction. So, some of the areas on this site that's already been built up are already, there's construction in the 25-foot no-build zone.
Correct.
Okay.
Even the projects on Appleton and Prospect would
Would run
be
afoul
more
of the
difficult
new
or maybe
regulations.
not even feasible
Right,
to do at this time.
exactly. So what's your timetable in terms of the planning board?
If we get I'm not expecting a decision tonight, but if I get one, or if we at least have a direction that it's going in a positive way, we intend to file with planning board as soon as the end of this week or early next week.
Okay.
Parallel track that.
All right. Well, I for one would like to, we stop by these properties from time to time. I'd like to take another look.
Sure.
And again, speaking only for myself, I would prefer that we continue this so we can have a chance to take a look and
Absolutely.
mull it over. So, how does the board feel about that? Okay.
Did you do it this Saturday, Mike?
I can't do it this Saturday. I'm going to be away. But certainly, some of us could meet on Saturday, or we can do it the week after.
Week after.
Although the week after is Memorial Day, so we'll figure it out some way. So is that agreeable to your client?
Absolutely, yeah. And if you want any of us to attend, myself or owner's representative, we'd be happy to
Okay.
discuss that one.
All right, we've got your contact information, so or if you have a card, that'd even be better.
What-
Well,
I
Give it to
don't
me.
know.
That's
I
great.
have, but I'm sure.
Okay.
Now my guys are all-
All right. So
It's fine until you
I did
mention
just touch it
that.
too when I did that.
so our next meeting would be May 27th, right, Sheila?
Yep.
Do we have anything on the agenda for that evening?
Here they are, is another question. I have one here, and I know.
And is that going to be for 7?
Well, I can make it for whatever, I haven't published it yet.
All right. So how about 7 o'clock on May 27th? Strange rate. Okay. Can I have a motion to that effect, please?
I would move that the Chamber's notice of intent be continued to May 27th at 7 p.m.
Okay. Is there a second?
I will second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Okay. We'll see you on the 27th. Thank you. And if I can get a consensus, we'll be in touch about a site visit.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Memorial Day weekend, I'm in California.
Brag.
Who are you?
Whereabouts in California?
Santa Barbara.
Nice. Okay. Fine being that way.
One of my friends rented a 10-bedroom mansion for his 40th birthday party and invited us down.
Wow,
Some
nice.
party.
So, yeah. So,
I wish I had friends like that.
I wish I was turning 40.
my next big one is the next one up, so
Uh-oh.
there you go, yeah.
29 then, right?
Yeah, 29, right.
Thanks,
Good night, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, looking on our agenda, have we got a NASBIL plan for 20 Jade Hill Road? yet?
No, I haven't heard back from them at all.
Okay, and what about 1 William Street?
Nope, he knows he needs one, but we haven't gotten
He
one
sure
yet.
does. Okay. So, meet that. There are enforcement orders. We already talked about 3 William Street. Rochdale Street, we're going to continue. We're going to carry it forward. Although I would imagine that they've done some work. I mean, now is the time for them to get going with the restoration efforts there. I sent an email to everyone. It was actually, I forwarded communication between Bill
The
Coyle
last one I just said.
and, yeah, Bill Coyle sent me an email on Friday. Apparently, they're in the process of dewatering the Route 1220 project. And apparently when they started that effort, there was siltation that was found. So apparently Mr. Coyle has been in touch with Gary Dillman at DEP.
Yeah.
And so I think at some point we should try to take a look and see how it's, but I know when I passed by there, the detention basin looks like it's all constructed. There was a fence around it, so I imagine if it's not complete, it's going to be complete very soon, so we should take a look at it. And then I will also, I'll have further conversation with Mr. Coyle about whether the siltation problem has been taken care of.
Gary Domain called me this morning, and I sent him a copy of the order of conditions and also the enforcement order that we had issued.
Okay, yeah, I think Mr. Coyle felt that there might be some fines issued, so we'll see what happens with that. That's not me. Okay, minutes, we have minutes, meeting minutes for April 8th.
Yeah, that's it. The 22nd, I haven't even started yet.
Okay. So, have any of us looked at these meeting minutes?
I have not.
All right, well, we have some time.
Dan, be kind today.
That depends on the quality of the minutes.
When it comes to minutes, Dan is hardly ever kind.
I know. It's downright mean.
Yeah, not used to it yet.
Yes, I am.
7 o'clock, 71 Curtis Street. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Ninth line. Tom Thompson, comma, and a butter, comma.
Okay.
His actual name is Townsend.
It is Tom.
Townsend.
Oh,
Yes.
is it?
Yes.
That's right.
Oh, okay. Should get his name right.
Townsend.
Yeah.
Townsend.
I think you'd appreciate that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know where I got Thompson.
It's okay.
I think I knew someone by the name. Maybe that's why. Okay. Okay.
Oh, that's funny. A few lines later, you do have him put down as Mr. Townsend.
Really?
Awesome.
Sorry.
Yep.
His name
Sorry.
changed.
You know, that's the problem with spell
Maybe it's
check.
another man.
No, it's the same guy.
Oh, boy.
Did they get you some help, Sheila?
No, they
Still?
haven't. No.
I wasn't
I
here
saw
for
the
the
ad.
April
Well,
22nd
they're
meeting.
interviewing
Were you able to
still.
meet up with Mr. Robidoux?
He
That
actually
second
took care of the
interview, so
problem.
I hope
Yeah,
that
okay.
second happens
He did.
soon.
Good.
I'm praying
good.
it does.
I hope you get an administrative assistant.
Okay, are you still on the first page, Dan, or have you moved on?
I'm about to move on.
Okay,
Have you moved on?
I have moved on.
Sometime.
On 7 William Street, where it says, Thomas found motion to issue an enforcement order to the owner, second by Charles Olson, who stated to have Mr. Michael Conan come before the board on April 22nd. The order stated that, not Mr. Olson, right?
Looks like I didn't finish that.
It looks, well, it did. I mean, the order stated that we wanted him to come before the board. In
Okay.
fact, he did. So I think it should read, Tom Fallon motion issued the enforcement order to the owner, second by Charles Olson, period.
Requesting?
Or comma, after also requesting that Mr. Conan come before the board.
There it was, it jumped down, how he plans to remediate the
And then
erosion.
after
Did
that-
you want the rest of it in there too?
Well, it's not a sentence. It says a cease and desist from further construction and to have a solution to the problem of the flooding. So I think you put a period in there where you did not want one.
I'm talking about requesting Mr. Michael Conan come before the board on April 22nd and to inform the commission of how he plans to remediate the erosion. You wanted that to stay?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I meant to
Us-
put a comma there with a small a.
Well, I'm gonna, I think, try to fix it. A cease and desist, it shouldn't be from further construction.
From construction.
How about Mr. Conan is...
I think cease and desist, preventing further construction instead of from.
Okay. So that's a whole new sentence, a cease and desist?
A cease and desist preventing
Okay.
further construction is ordered until a solution to the problem of flooding is proposed. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Tortuous, but adequate.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not, we're not doing Shakespeare here. Photos will be including the enforcement order, the vote was all in favor. Okay, that's fine. Carry over. I thought we would have seen a notice of intent for 71 Curtis Street by now.
Nope, haven't even heard from him.
Right. If you look under issuances, 71 Curtis Street, third line from the bottom, I stated that the Conservation Commission has different issues than the Planning Board.
Okay.
Okay, if you look under, it's on page 3, 730 Faith Avenue, third line. Mr. Grabasi stated there are 2 locations for application. And instead of measures, it should be methods of mitigation. Okay, and other than that, I have no other changes. Anyone else?
It's good.
Is there a motion?
I move to accept the meeting minutes as amended
For April 8th?
for April 8th.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
All those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed to
Abstain.
vote. Okay, Louise abstains. Okay. And we will have the meeting minutes for the 22nd at our next meeting. Yes?
Hold a good thought.
All right, sounds good. Does
right.
anyone else have anything?
One item.
Please.
Last Saturday, I called your home phone number.
Yes.
I had very bad hay fever, and Mr. Townsend showed up at my door. That's why I remember his name. He gave me his name and his number. There was some earth being taken out,
Right.
and I texted him that night, and he texted me back that Bill Conan was notified, the PD was notified,
Okay.
and that's all that I got from that. So I don't know if they found...
Now, where in relation to Mr. Townsend's property was this being removed?
He said it was in the area of the purchased land,
Okay.
and they had left the trailer and the backhoe there, and the truck that they're actually hauling the earth with was gone.
Okay.
And that's when he came to my house, so I imagine that by the time they got there, hopefully, the people that were there...
Mr. Townsend came to your house?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and I said, they're moving earth. He says, yeah. And I says, I have like, really bad allergies right now, but I'm gonna make some phone calls, so I did.
Was there any, any identifying
License plate, yeah.
information? All
Yeah,
right.
trailer in the backhoe were registered in Maine, I think he said.
Really?
Yeah, which is common. A lot of companies do that because it's cheaper for tax
But
purposes.
any, like, trade names or business names on
He
the...
didn't say,
Okay.
say.
And then you haven't heard anything since then, is
No.
that right?
No, just the response from Apinoid
Last
did.
Saturday?
That was last Saturday, which was...
And I did get your message.
Is right out there now. I was saying.
Oh,
Tom, I got your message
happy birthday.
later that evening, so that's
Okay.
why I didn't hear from you. All right,
That's it.
anything else? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. All right, thank you very much.